questions. We have tons of them. What if some of those questions can be answered with a simple email? Now is that time, and welcome to Chat with Charlie. Host Stephanie Lynn is a certified spiritual life coach and psychic medium. She will work together with Spirit to answer both your submitted and live questions. Not only will Stephanie be providing you with insight, but also interviews with amazing guests. Now, your host of Chat with Charlie, Stephanie Lynn.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kaden. Thank you for tuning in. I am so happy to be back here after a couple weeks of not coming to you live. I feel like it's been forever, and I'm really excited to bring this show. This is a follow-up to a show that we held back a couple weeks ago where we talked about the body code and the emotion code. And we had a psychic medium, Ellie Weisensel, with us. She is going to be back today. So start thinking about, this isn't readings. This is, I'm holding on to anger. I don't understand why. I feel stuck. I'm not sure why. Where she can go in and work with these codes and try to help you clear up some of this junk so that you can move forward, so that you can let go. But before I introduce her, I was super, super excited when I came across this quote actually last night on Facebook. And I thought, you know what? When we come on the Chat with Charlie show this morning on WLTK-DB, this is going to be the perfect kind of lean into. And I felt like it was really Spirit's way of supporting some of these extra self-care techniques, because that's what these are. These are self-care techniques that we incorporate with everything else. And Kaden, that means a lot. I'm glad that this show has already reached out to you. Good morning, Michelle. Thank you so much for tuning in. And so the quote that I came across says, "You should dance with the skeletons in your closet. Learn their names so you can ask them to leave. Have coffee with your demons. Ask them important questions like, what keeps you here? Learn what doors they keep finding open and kick them out," right? And that's exactly what this is about. That's exactly what emotion code and body code is about. It's learning. Good morning, Diana. Thank you for tuning in. It is learning why we're stuck, making peace with those skeletons in our closets, the things that attach to us. And so without any further holdback, please help me welcome back to the show, psychic medium Ellie Weisensel. Good morning, Ellie.
Good morning, Stephanie.
How are you today?
Here? Not too bad. How about you?
I'm good. It's cold here. It's cold in Wisconsin. It was -2 all the way up north when I woke up this morning. So I know it's not quite as cold down further south in the state where you are.
Not as bad, no.
So very lucky, very lucky. I'm sorry. I don't know why that kicked on. So I want to do just a very quick recap for our viewers. Good morning, Erica, who may have missed that part 1 and not heard or don't know much about body code and emotion code. So if we could do a quick overview of that before we get into the mini sessions. And Facebook user says, "I love Ellie." So
well, thank you. A quick overcap is the emotion code is actually like a level 1 for Dr. Bradley. He's the one that created the emotion code body code. So the emotion code is actually a slice out of the body code. And the emotion code basically does like what I call an umbrella, an overview of things. So it will release trapped emotions, but it doesn't do any deep diving, but it definitely does help. Then I went on to do the body code, and that one is much more in depth. It will take you down to like specific bones or specific blood cells, specific veins. It will literally deep dive into more specific areas. You're still releasing trapped emotions. However, you may also be resetting things. So once you release trapped emotions, let's say if you have an organ that's got some trapped emotions like the liver, and we release some of the trapped emotions,
right,
then we need to reset that liver because those trapped emotions took up space. to put the liver back where it belonged. So the body code goes much more deeper.
Absolutely. And I think that's, and with this quote that I kind of talked about this morning, so many times we don't understand, we don't understand why we're stuck, why we can't let go of a certain emotion. And this is just that extra tool in the toolbox to do that. And so I do kind of want to jump right in to the mini readings, because I know a lot of people have been anticipating this and waiting for this. And so again, I encourage everybody to pop those in. Why am I so angry? Why can't I move past this? And see what Ellie can do to kind of introduce you to that emotion code and that body code healing. I did have an individual reach out to me because she was not sure she was going to be able to make the show this morning. So I thought we could start with her.
Okay.
And this was from Derek and Jackie. And Jackie had said that she holds on to a lot of anger. And she's tried to work through the anger and sought different ways to release it, but she's not sure why she can't move past that.
Okay, so what we're going to do, so this anger is specifically geared towards Jackie, if I'm reading the question correctly.
Yeah, she's the one experiencing the anger.
Okay, so what the body code does is I'll ask for an underlying imbalance. And sometimes when the imbalances come through and it pinpoints to a specific area, you'll look at it like, I don't see the connection. I don't get it.
Right.
You don't have to see it. You don't have to connect with it. Your higher self is what I'm working with. And your higher self is saying it's time to let this go. And the connection doesn't always cause a direct line, but as your body is healing from the releasements, you're going to notice the changes at that point. So we're going to start with Jackie. And what I do is I use my pendulum. I don't know if you can see it very well. Yes. And I connect in with your higher self. And I go back and forth with your higher self. I may say left side, right side, odd number, even number. And I may say some stuff to get to that final point of what is stemming, what's going on.
Right.
So then once I get to that, then I'll let you know. And then we'll go from there. So if anybody has questions, feel free to ask or feel to try to understand what's going on here. But these are just mini sessions. So I may not dive real deep. I still leave it up to your subconscious and the spirit side to let us know how far deep we need to go for everybody.
Absolutely.
So for Jackie, is there an underlying imbalance? And you're saying yes. And I am connected to Jackie. So with that underlying imbalance is the emotion code, body code, left side, right. So on the right side, pathogens, misalignment, nutrition, lifestyle, we have a misalignment.
Okay.
So with the misalignment, is it left side, right side 1, which is skeleton. Left side, right side 1, which is axial skeleton. Left side, right side 1, 2, which is the thoracic cage. Left side 1, 2, which is the xiphoid process. And I'm going to write this stuff down as I work only because we do a lot of jumping around and I don't want to miss going back to something. So with the xiphoid process, is there an underlying imbalance? Yes. Emotion code, body code, left side, energy. So we have an energy underneath this xiphoid process. Right side 1, 2, and it's the emotional. Left side, trapped emotions. Left side, right side 1, which is common trapped emotion. And common means it's happening in your lifetime. It isn't carried over from an ancestor. It's not inherited. It's not another person. It is your trapped emotion that you created at some point in your life. We don't need to know why. So now we're going to go down into the trapped emotion. So even though you're concerned with the anger, you may have another trapped emotion that's causing the anger to come through. So for the common trapped emotions, we have odd or even to A, Anxiety, despair, disgust, nervousness, worry. So we have worry. Odd row even to A, anxiety, despair. We have despair. Odd row even to 2A, B. So it's 2B, which is failure, helplessness, hopelessness, lack of control, low self-esteem. So we have low self-esteem. Odd row even. So we have the 3 trapped emotions. So we're going to go ahead and release those 3. We're going to release the trapped emotion of worry, releasing trapped emotion despair, releasing trapped emotion low self-esteem. And then I like to go back in and make sure that they were released, and they are, which then takes us back to the xiphoid process. Is there another underlying imbalance? And you're telling me no, there isn't. So we're going to reset that xiphoid process. We're going to reset it. And that's been a reset. So now, is there another underlying imbalance for the anger? And you're saying no, there's not. Okay. So even though you were feeling the anger, it wasn't the anger itself. You had an underlying imbalance that was causing that anger. So now that we've released those 3 trapped emotions, we've reset the xiphoid process.
Yeah.
You should not give yourself a little bit of time, because it does take time to process through all of that. You should notice, though, in time that you're not feeling that anger and you have now let that go.
I love that. And as just one thing for our viewers, as you are doing this, if it's a viewer with questions, and I know, like, specifically when you've worked on my family, there can be some tiredness, the need to drink some extra water.
Correct. Okay. Correct. So you may feel some processing, which is, like Steph said, the feeling of the tired. I suggest having extra water, because we are like 70% fluid of water.
Right.
And to process that out, getting that water in will help you to process out those vibrations.
Absolutely.
So if you feel tired, sit down, take a nap, read a book, listen to your body and work with your body.
Absolutely. And before we get on, we have some other questions from our viewers. I want to correlate the water, and you're talking about us on a molecular level. And recently I was talking to a therapist completely removed from the metaphysical world. And they're talking now about the correlation that they're even seeing, and scientists recommending drinking water and that whole body process. So this whole body process is really starting to become more mainstream and more discussed. So I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting. Good.
So Kaden asks, why can't I get over betrayal and stay in a state of paranoia and anger?
Okay, so you want to get over anger, but you want to get over the paranormal and the
over the paranoia and the anger. They feel like they stay in a state of paranoia and anger.
Okay, so let's see for Kaden, is there an underlying imbalance? And yes, there is. Emotion code, body code, left side, energy, circuits, and systems. So we're going to jump into your systems. You've got something for the system, left side, right side, 1, which is the circular system. Left side 1, which is your heart organ. So you've got something going on in your heart organ. And is there an underlying imbalance with the heart organ? And you're saying, yes, there is. Emotion code, body code, left side, energy, circuits, and systems. So you have an underlying imbalance in your heart organ, but we're going to go back and figure out what that is. Left side, right side, 1, 2, which is your digestive system. Left side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 is your small intestine. So you have something going on in your small intestine that's affecting the heart organ, that's creating these issues and problems for you. So let's find out what the small intestine, is there an underlying imbalance for the small intestine? Yes. Left side, right side. Emotion code, body code, left side. Emotions. So we have some emotions going on. Left side, right side, 1, 2. So it is emotional.
And Kaden says, yep, sure do. Sure do have a lot of emotions.
Trapped emotions. Left side, right side, common. They're common trapped emotions, so they happened in your lifetime. But these common trapped emotions are caught in your small intestine, which is affecting your heart. So let's find out what trapped emotions they are. Odd row even, 2A, B, failure. You have the emotion of failure. Odd row 1A, abandonment. You have this emotion of abandonment. Odd row even, 2, 4A, anger. You have anger. Odd row even, 2, 4, 6A, overwhelm. Odd row even. So keep in mind, even though we're saying these trapped emotions are caught, I look at them on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 meaning you had just a fleeting moment of it and you thought you processed it, but your body held on to it. So you don't even realize your body's hanging on to it. And a 10 would be you felt it, you knew it, and you hung on to that emotion. I don't know where these trapped emotions fall on a scale of 1 to 10, because some people look at it like, I never felt that. But it was such a fleeting moment that you just don't remember it. But yet your body held on to it. So you have failure, abandonment, anger, and overwhelm. And we're going to go ahead and release those 4 trapped emotions. We're going to release a trapped emotion, failure. Releasing trapped emotion, abandonment. Releasing trapped emotion, anger. Releasing trapped emotion, overwhelm. So with those 4 that are released, is there another underlying imbalance for the small intestine? And you're saying no, so we can go ahead and reset. We're going to reset the small intestine so it can sit properly where it belongs. And the small intestine has been reset now. So that takes us back to the heart organ. Is there another underlying imbalance? And you're saying no, so we can go ahead and reset the heart organ. I'm going to reset that heart organ. And with the heart organs reset, yes. So with that, is there another underlying imbalance? No. So you should see in time some difference in how you feel, because we've now reset the heart organ as well.
Wonderful. And while you were working through that, Kaden had said that a lot of these, they're all on a scale of 10 for them. So yes.
So, and with this process, I don't know, and I don't need to know. I'm just a conduit. I'm bringing forward. Right. So for you to see it and know it and do the connections, that's awesome. That's telling us that we're on the right path here.
Yes. And Erica jumped in and she said, this is so cool to watch Ellie work through these. So, and I agree. I find it absolutely fascinating watching Ellie do this. Michelle is asking if we can please provide your Facebook and your YouTube. And so, Michelle, I have all of those. I dropped a bunch of links into the show earlier when it first started. I'm going to put Ellie's website up on the screen for you right now, so you can drop that down, or after the show, jump back in and you can scroll through those comments and you'll find it in there. But it is on the screen. Okay, and so Michelle's asking, we'll do one more with Michelle before we hop on to break. She says, I feel like I am in a constant state of worry and anxiety. I suffer from debilitating migraines as well as several other females on my dad's side. Not sure if there is a connection. Thank you.
With worry and anxiety can go pretty deep, and it can go in a number of different ways, because anxiety is actually classified in a number of different avenues. In the body code, we don't necessarily work on specific names like anxiety. I've worked with my daughter who had breast cancer. I never use the word breast cancer. We work with the symptoms of what you're feeling. So worry would be a good one. We'll use anxiety, but I don't necessarily work with the term itself, because those are our terms. Mm-hmm. Spirit side and your subconscious, even though we say those terms, don't work with those terms. So let's see what we can find for Michelle, what's ready for you to release. And because you've got a number of different things going on, we're not going to hit them all today. But for Michelle, let's see what we can. You're saying, yes, there is something that we can definitely work on. So is it emotion code, body code, left side, energy, circuits, and systems. So we're going to go into the systems. Left side, right side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Which is the nervous system. Left side, right side, which is the peripheral nervous system. Left side, which is somatic nervous system. You've got something with your somatic nervous system, and with anxiety, I'm not surprised. So with the somatic nervous system, is there an underlying imbalance? Yes. Emotion code, body code, left side, energy. You have an energy going on. Left side, right side, 1, 2. It's emotional. Left side, trapped emotions. Left side, right side, 1, 2. Which is a shared trapped emotion. Shared is something that you had an event going on in your life, and that event affected you and somebody else at the same exact time. And that shared trapped emotion is actually something you both shared. You both felt the same exact trapped emotions at the same exact time, so you shared it. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what those trapped emotions are. Odd or even, 2, 4, A. Anger, bitterness, guilt, hatred, resentment. You have resentment. Odd row 1, 3, A. Crying. Odd row 1, 3, 5, A. Blaming. Odd row even, 2, 4, A. Anger. Odd row even. So we have the 4 trapped emotions of resentment, crying, blaming, and anger that you and another person shared. So do we need to know? No, we don't need to know the other person. So we're going to go ahead and release the 4 trapped emotions. Releasing trapped emotion, resentment. Releasing trapped emotion, crying. Releasing trapped emotion, blaming. Releasing trapped emotion, anger. So those 4 trapped emotions have been released, which takes us back to the somatic nervous system. Is there another underlying imbalance for the somatic nervous system? No, so we can go ahead and reset that. So we're going to go ahead and reset the somatic nervous system. So that has been reset. So with that, is there another underlying imbalance at this moment? No, but you do have other things down in there, but this has reset that, which you're going to see some difference. Anxiety is very complex and very deep. Mm-hmm. We're just doing a mini overview today. So you should see some help. It might be more on the worry, where you always worry about things. You may see little subtle things with your anxiety, but we did not dive truly very deep into this. But you should see some relief someplace. It'll be up to you to figure out where that release was and how that's going to help.
Absolutely. And I think, that's a great point with these being mini sessions, but even like Diana has popped in and she said that she's had 3 sessions so far. And it's a wow. Not just emotional benefits, but physical as well. And it has helped her so much. She said, I'm so grateful for Ellie. But I think that's a really good example of, depending on what you're working through, how many sessions you're going to need, how your body processes. It's not, even when you come for a session, it's not necessarily a one and done type thing.
Right. A lot will depend upon what you're looking for and what you're after, how many sessions it will take.
Yes. And Michelle says, thank you. And Kaden had hopped on also and said, thank you. Already feel it bubbling. So thank you so much. So with that, we will take a quick station break. When we come back, we will come back to you, the viewers, and Ellie will be doing more mini sessions. We'll see you in just a moment.
Certified psychic medium Stephanie Lynn creates an authentic connection between the living and the spirit world. Stephanie knows she is here to help heal, educate, and provide validation that there is more after death, and allows herself to be a conduit and work as a team with spirit to pass on messages from their world to ours. Stephanie Lynn also works as a spiritual life coach to help you achieve, create, and manifest your best self and life. Looking for help communicating with an animal? Searching for a past life regression therapist? Or dealing with a paranormal experience? Stephanie Lynn is here to help. For a list of full services, visit her on Facebook under Stephanie Lynn Spirit Sensitive. That's Stephanie Lynn Spirit Sensitive. Ellie Weisensel, psychic medium, is a medical intuitive that specializes as a body code practitioner. As an energy healer, Ellie offers additional services that allow her modalities to be intertwined with energetic healing. Within your subconscious lies information that knows everything about you and why you deal with specific conditions. The subconscious can be considered the blueprint to your entire body. With Ellie working physically with your subconscious mind, we detect what negative emotions are trapped and where they are stored within the body that is causing you your emotional and physical pain. This work is designed to remove imbalances and correct them energetically, getting to the root cause of why you have your condition, to help balance your body so it may heal itself. Your body is infinitely wise and wants to be in balance. The body code is not only gentle for humans, but it is also a gentle process to help animals. For more information, contact Ellie Weisensel at the website below.
Good morning, everybody. It is about 26 past the hour. You are listening or watching Chat with Charlie on WLTK-DB Let's Talk Radio. I'm your host, Stephanie Lynn, and if you're just tuning in, we are joined again by certified psychic medium Ellie Weisensel, who is back on the show talking after she had talked about the body code and the emotion code, doing mini sessions for you, the viewers. And so we've processed through some of those for our viewers, and we're going to continue doing that. So please keep them coming in so that we can get them to Ellie and she can help you with the process. So Ellie, we have Mary who sent in a message and said, I feel like this one is going to be about grief, even though it's not necessarily worded that way. She says, my youngest daughter passed from cancer on 12/31/2020. She was 29, diagnosed at 17. My heart is shattered. How do I move through?
This is going to be centered around grief, but you're hanging on to things that you're not letting go of, and I'm sure your daughter doesn't want you to do that either. So let's go in and take a look, if you don't mind, seeing what underlying trapped emotions there are in there that we can go ahead and help you release. So with Mary, is there an underlying imbalance? Yes. Emotion code, body code, left side energies. You've got some energies. Left side post-traumatic. Left side, right side, recovery interference. So you've got a recovery interference energy. And with your recovery interference, is there an underlying imbalance? Yes. Emotion code, body code, left side energy. You have another energy. Left side post-traumatic. Left side, 1, 2, which is physical emotional shock. And with the physical emotional shock, is there an underlying imbalance? Yes. Left side, right side, energy. We have another energy. Left side, right side, 1, 2, which is emotional. Left side, 1, trapped emotions. Left side, right side, 1, which is common trapped emotions. So let's see which common trapped emotions that are being hung on to. Odd or even to a anger. We have anger. Left side, right side. Odd or even to a anger, bitterness, guilt, hatred, resentment. We have resentment. Odd or even to for a blaming. Odd or even to a anger, bitterness, guilt, hatred. Odd or even to for a B. For B, depression, frustration, indecisiveness, panic. We have panic. Odd or even. Okay, so let me get my spelling corrected here. So we have the trapped emotions of anger, resentment, blaming, hatred, and panic, which would be kind of, to me, would be pretty common with what you've gone through. So we're going to go ahead and release those 5 trapped emotions, releasing trapped emotion, anger, releasing trapped emotion, resentment, releasing trapped emotion, blaming, releasing trapped emotion, hatred, releasing trapped emotion, panic. So with those trapped emotions, let's see, they are released. Because they were created under physical emotional shock of what you were going through, physical emotional shock will create its own energy.
Right.
So was there another underlying imbalance? No. So now we can go ahead and release those physical emotional shock energy. So we're going to release that specific energy. And underneath that, above that was the recovery interference. So is there another underlying imbalance? No, but the recovery interference created its own energy. So now we're going to release that recovery interference energy. So now that has been released, so you should now start feeling some releasement of everything that you've been kind of holding in. We didn't release everything, but we did do the 5 trapped emotions, and then we released the energy of the physical shock energy, and then we released the energy of the recovery interference, because you're holding all of that in. Yeah. So now you should start feeling some releasement. Make sure if you're tired to take a nap or just sit down, read a book, get some of that water in to help that energy release that we've released.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So I hope that helps you, Mary.
Right. So we've got 2 more sitting in our queue. We'll probably have time for a couple more. So if anybody still has some questions, please feel free to pop those in. Okay, so Sherry messaged in, and she's been having night sweats for over a year. She says that they're starting at about 3 a.m., but she's not exactly sure why she's having those night sweats.
So do we have an underlying imbalance for Sherry? Yes. Emotion code, body code, left side, energy, circuits, and systems. Systems. We're going to dive into your systems. Left side, right side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, which is the microbiome. Microbiome is the microorganisms that are inhibited in every individual. That includes your bacteria, your fungi, your parasites, and other organisms that live within our gut system.
Mm-hmm.
So with a microbiome, is there an underlying imbalance? No, so we just need to reset it. So we're going to go ahead and reset your microbiome. It's out of balance. So we're going to reset it. So that has been reset. Is there another underlying imbalance? Yes. Emotion code, body code, left side, energy, circuits, and systems. I'm going to circuits and systems. Left side, 1, 2, 3, which is the body cycle or rhythm. Left side, right side, which is the circadian rhythm. And let's ask, let me write this down so we can see where we're at here. We have, I think it's 2, 4, 6, 7 rhythms within our body that happens at specific times of the day. And that's part of the circadian rhythm. Do we need to know which specific time frame? Yes. So is it 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 7 a.m., 10 a.m. to 30 p.m., 5 p.m., 9 p.m. It's a 9 p.m. was the melatonin secretion is starting. So we're going to go with a 9 p.m. Is there an imbalance? Yes. Emotion code, body code, left side, energy. So we have an energy going on that's affecting that. Left side, right side, 1, 2, which is emotional. Left side, trapped emotions. Left side, right side, common. So we have some common trapped emotions that are affecting you about 9 p.m. So let's see what those are. Odd or even, 2, 4, A, B, 4B. Depression, it's frustration. Odd or even, 2, 4, 6, A, B, pride, shame, shock, unworthy, worthless. We have worthless. Odd or even, 2A. Anxiety, despair, disgust, nervousness, worry. Odd or even. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and release the 3 trapped emotions. Releasing trapped emotion. Releasing trapped emotion, worthless. Releasing trapped emotion, worry. So those have been released. It takes us back because these fell under the 9 p.m. of the circadian rhythm. Is there another underlying imbalance? No, so we just need to reset. So we're going to reset your circadian rhythm. Okay, so with that, those were the 2 underlying imbalances that you had. You should start noticing a difference now with that. It'll take a little bit of time for that to filter through the system. So you might not see a difference the first night, but you should see a little bit of a difference in time.
And Sherry and Mary both had popped in while you were doing that to say thank you. I do want to add for Sherry, while Ellie was going through and releasing, I kept hearing spirit coming in, and you're taking on a lot of things that really aren't yours to take on. And it's your mind is constantly going, like, as soon as she started releasing that, it was almost like a sense of nausea that spirit was giving me for you. And so just finding also ways to slow your mind, to not put that all on there. If that makes sense, because it's like what, part 2, like you lay down and then you got all this rattling around in your head.
Which makes sense because that was 9 p.m. That's usually when we start shutting down for the night, but yet her mind is still going.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So Erica says, I have been feeling a lot of worry lately. I guess would be the best word for it. Would you be able to help me with this?
All right, so Erica has an underlying imbalance. Yes, emotion code, body code, left side energy. You've got some energies going on. Left side, 1, which is post-traumatic. Left side, 1, which is a physical trauma. So even though we call it a physical trauma, it may not be like a physical, like you get hit or something, but it could be emotional that affected you so hard that you actually felt like it was a physical, even though it wasn't physical. If that makes sense to you, Erica, which I hope it does. So with a physical trauma, is there an underlying imbalance? Yes. Emotion code, body code, left side energy. So we have an energy going on. Left side, right side, 1, 2, which is emotional. Left side, 1, which is trapped emotions. Left side, right side, 1, which is common. So you've got some common trapped emotions stuck within you. So let's see which ones those are. I wrote even 2, 4, 6A. I don't feel like it's overwhelmed. So let's see what we have here. It's humiliation. I wrote even 2, 4A. Anger, bitterness, we have some bitterness. I wrote even 2, 4, 6B. Pride, shame, we have some shame. I wrote 1, 3AB. Confusion. Odd were even 2, 4AB. Depression, frustration, indecisiveness, panic, taken for granted. Odd were even. So we have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 underlying trapped emotions that we're going to go ahead and release. Releasing trapped emotion, humiliation. Releasing trapped emotion, bitterness. Releasing trapped emotion, shame. Releasing trapped emotion, confusion. Releasing trapped emotion, taken for granted. So do we have those 5 have been released? Is there another underlying imbalance for the physical trauma? No. So we're going to go ahead and release that physical trauma energy that was holding them in place. Been released. Is there another underlying imbalance? No. So you had the 5 trapped emotions thought that had created that physical trauma energy, and I was just kind of keeping it all in place. Now that's all been released. That should help you with your worry.
I love it. So Anne, another wonderful colleague of ours, asks if you do this for animals, and I know that you do it for animals, but she says if so, she could use some guidance for her Sophie. And so I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on with Sophie or if you need a little bit more information.
No, I do know Sophie. Sophie's been going through quite a bit. I'm sure she's got some trapped emotions in there. We can certainly, this does work very well for animals as well. I've actually helped a number of animals that would, for example, like cats that are fighting with other cats. I go in and find out the trapped emotions, get them released, and then they start working together. Or if you've got a cat that's urinating outside the litter box, releasing trapped emotions, and then they go back to using the litter box. Animals are very much like humans, where they do hold a lot of trapped emotions. So for Sophie, because I know she's just recently gone through a lot, is there an underlying imbalance that we can decode? And they're saying yes. Sophie's saying yes. So emotion code, body code, left side energy. So she's got some energies going on. So let's see what we have for Sophie. Left side, right side, 1, 2. So it's emotional. Left side, trapped emotions. Left side, right side, common. So it's common trapped emotions. So let's see what we have for common trapped emotions. Odd or even, 2A. Anxiety, despair, disgust, nervousness, worry. She has worry. Odd row 1, 3A, crying. She is crying. Odd row even, 2A, anxiety, despair. She has despair. Odd row even, 2, 4, 6A, it's overwhelmed. Odd row even, 2, 4, 6A, B, pride, shame. She's got some shame. Odd row even. So currently we have 5 trapped emotions for her. Now for Sophie, I feel like this is kind of what I would call the emotion code, which is an overview. We're not digging deep into her. I know with everything that she's got going on, she just has some general trapped emotions that we're going to release. So we're going to go ahead and release these 5. Releasing trapped emotion, worry. Releasing trapped emotion, crying. Releasing trapped emotion, despair. Releasing trapped emotion, overwhelm. Releasing trapped emotion, shame. So those 5 have been released. For a lot of humans and people, usually the first session doesn't go very deep and doesn't have a whole lot to it because it's a brand new experience for the body, and your subconscious and your spirits don't want to like overwhelm it. And because if you do too much, you could actually cause not feeling good, or maybe coming down with a cold. I know when I work on somebody's immune system, I can only do a certain percent change at a time because that actually will bring on a cold if they do too much. So a lot of times for somebody's very first session, it doesn't go very deep or a whole lot. So, but definitely the 5 will help Sophie.
That's awesome. And I think that's a great point too. I didn't know that when working on the immune system. So I think that's fascinating, as well as all of this that you're doing. So before the break, we have time for one more in our last mini session, which is for Lisa. She says she has significant pain and tenderness with a lack of flexibility. She was diagnosed as fibromyalgia, but wondered what the root is.
Okay, so we won't work with the term name because we've already kind of discussed that a little earlier, but she's got the lack of flexibility, and then she's got, pain, I think I heard within that. So let's take a look for Lisa here. Yes, you have an underlying imbalance, emotion code, body code, left side, energy. So you have an energy. Left side, right side, 1, 2. You've got some emotional energy going on. Left side, trapped emotions. Left side, right side, common. You've got some common trapped emotions. So let's take a look at this. Odd row 1, 3, 5A, blaming, dread, fear. It's dread. Odd row even, 2, 4A, B, 4B. Depression, frustration. You have frustration. Odd row 1, 3A, B. Confusion, defensiveness, grief. You have grief. Odd row even, 2, 4A, B. 4B is depression, frustration, indecisiveness, panic, taken for granted. So we have the 1, 2, 4 trapped emotions. We're going to release the trapped emotion, dread. Releasing trapped emotion, frustration. Releasing trapped emotion, grief. Releasing trapped emotion, taken for granted. So those were kind of like an overview thing, but do we have time, Steph?
Sure.
Okay, because she's asking for, that was like a kind of what I would call an overview, like I did with Sophie, was that because they were just common trapped emotions we released, but she's telling me there's something else that she would like taken care of quick here if we can.
Do you want to work through the root while we cut to a quick break?
You
And
can
then
do
we could
that.
go over that. All right. So
We can
while
do that.
Ellie is working through to the route for Lisa, we are going to take our last station break. And when we come back, we will have those messages for Lisa and be wrapping up our show with what's coming up on the station and what's coming up here over the next couple weeks. We'll see you back in just a moment.
Want to keep up with the latest at the station? How about catch up on your favorite shows on the go? Download the free WLTK-DB mobile app on the App Store and Google Play. Watch, listen, and shop right from the palm of your hand. The WLTK-DB mobile app. The truth is here and now. Get yours today.
Welcome back. You are catching the end of Chat with Charlie on WLTK-DB Let's Talk Radio. Today we were joined by guest psychic medium, body code, and emotion code practitioner Ellie Weisensel. When we went to break, Ellie was working on finding a root cause for one of the guests who was asking about fibromyalgia. Are you still working through that, Ellie?
Just finished up with her because this is interesting. I haven't released the trapped emotions yet. I wanted her back online. But where she took me was to the parathyroid gland.
Okay.
And with the parathyroid gland, it's on the back of the thyroid gland that secretes parathyroid hormones and controls the amount of calcium in blood and bones.
Oh.
So it makes perfect sense. But for whatever reason, she needed those other common trapped emotions released so we could go working deeper here. So she has the trapped emotions that are causing the issue with the parathyroid gland is conflict, fear, self-abuse, and bitterness. So we're going to go ahead and release those trapped emotions, releasing trapped emotion conflict, releasing trapped emotion fear, releasing trapped emotion self-abuse, releasing trapped emotion bitterness. So now that those four have been released, the parathyroid gland is now kind of offset a little bit because of the space that the trapped emotions took up. So we're going to reset that parathyroid gland. Okay, so that's been reset. So she should see, now remember, her issue is going to be a little bit more in depth. She should notice some changes and it should help, but I'm not guaranteeing it's going to solve the problem because
absolutely,
that's one of the things that we have in our life that gets pretty in depth and pretty complex.
Absolutely.
But it should help her.
Well, thank you. Thank you for looking into that. So while we were on break, Mary had asked how the emotion code works. And we don't have time to kind of go back into that right now, Mary, but if you go onto Podbean, you can download the show from back in early November when Ellie was on talking about body code and the emotion code, and she explains and gives a ton of information. You can also check out her website, which I also just posted on the screen. And you have a phenomenal amount of information on your website. So I really recommend that people check that out. So before Ellie gives us our final inspiration for the week, I wanted to quickly let you guys know there's a lot of great shows coming up on the station. For a full list for, you know, kind of like the Reader's Digest programming, this is what's coming up. Check out the website. There's also a lot of really good information on WLTK-DB.com. Help support the other shows because this is a platform that we are all just so grateful for, so grateful to our producer, Todd, for bringing us all to a place that we can be a resource to you. Coming up here on the show. Next week, we have Angie Rodriguez. She is a promoter of self-care strategies. So she's going to be coming in and talking about some self-care strategies. On December 15th, Tobias Wayland, he is an author and investigator of the unusual, will be joining us to talk about the myth, the lore, what is Santa Claus? And maybe we might just get a visit from the big guy himself. So I hope you all tune in. The 22nd, the station is off on a break, so we won't be here, but there are lots of shows. I'll keep popping up links for previous shows for you to download. I know other hosts will do the same. Coming up in January, some things to look forward to. I will be joined by another wonderful colleague, Jessica, who is a psychic medium. She will be doing a reading show for you guys. And then on January 26th, the Lehigh Valley medium, Matthew Kamont, will be coming on, which I'm really excited about. I'm originally from the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania. I've heard a lot of wonderful things about Matthew, and so I'm really excited to be able to bring him in as a resource to the viewers. So I hope you will tune in. I hope you will check out the other shows. And Ellie, if you have some quick inspiration for us for the week ahead.
I have a deck of cards. It's actually affirmation cards. It's called the Spirit Junkie.
Wonderful.
I was shuffling earlier and I shuffled now. So I'm just going to take the top card and let's see what Spirit has to tell us. I am willing to see my sameness with others. This opens my awareness to oneness.
Wow, I like that.
So it's, whoops, let me see if I can get that close enough. It's hard to kind of read. But this is just kind of like an affirmation, an overview of things. And it just talks about how when we change ourselves, we also change those around us. And even though we're changing ourselves, we still become a oneness.
Absolutely. And I think it attests to, the season that we're entering. And a lot of times we get so caught up in the consumerism of the holiday and we feel all these pressures, but the simplest acts, the simplest, kindest things that bring us into oneness, that they don't cost anything and it can change people's lives. So I think that's a beautiful affirmation for the weeks ahead. Ellie, I want to thank you as always for coming on. I think what you do is not only fascinating, because I do find it fascinating, but I think it's just such a huge benefit to others and an aid in helping people heal and move past things that they've struggled to do so. So thank you for your time and your demonstration today.
Thank you for letting me come on and show people what it consists of, because I do. When I started down this path, I had no idea what I was getting into. And it's just from what I see with people that we've worked on, because it's not me, I'm just the conduit.
Right.
But it's just been phenomenal. Some of the people that have come back and said, this has really made a difference for me and has really helped me release. And I'm not feeling the pains I were and things like that. So
absolutely.
It's just amazing.
And I have put it up a couple times, Ellie's website. It's in the comments. I highly recommend, if you're interested in this, you check her out. And I know also December 10th, Ellie, you will also be at the Soul and Synergy event in Rice Lake.
I will be, yes.
So if you would like to come and see Ellie in person, and you'll be offering body code and emotion code sessions there.
I will be.
Perfect. So stop in. I know I have information posted on my Chat with Charlie page and Stephanie Lynn Spirit Sensitive. I'm sure Ellie has things posted as well. And also fellow host Christina Bloom is going to be there too. So come see some of your WLTK-DB hosts and guests and just stop in and say hi. Thank you so much, Ellie. Thank you to all the viewers, as always, for tuning in. We appreciate you. And I will see you back here next week with Angie Rodriguez. Bye.
Bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.